from the Imperial Island Resort in Paphos, and it's the final week to see how you could win big in time for summer. Someone has to win our stunning cash prize of £76,543.21. Just don't miss out as lines close on the 26th of June.
For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
The GB News audience is different, it's unique, because they see through the nonsense.
We want to debate with each other, we want to listen and maybe learn.
We have a chat. That's what we do. We try and have a chat.
They'll watch my programme while they're eating their tea, they'll watch breakfast while they're busy getting their kids ready for school.
We want to hear what matters to you, what is news for you.
And what's brought you out here today?
What are the biggest issues affecting this particular area? The audience are the best thing about GB News. They're friends, they're family. They're people who need to have their voices heard.
They're passionate about the channel, they're passionate about what they believe in.
The one thing about GB News is you get a chance to speak.
Talk to me about why so many people have gathered here today.
Do you want to say something back in return? The GB News audience is what makes GB News special.
It's incredible to see.
They shape our programmes, they shape our output, and they shape our channel.
That's what makes us the fearless champion of Britain. It's 9 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys. Tonight,
every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
Keir Starmer has resigned and it's gone down well with the public.
That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
And Keir Starmer nearly cried.
To my fantastic wife, Vic, who has been a rock by my side through good times and bad.
Oh, boo-hoo. Now you know how we felt for the last 2 years. But obviously, the most annoying man in Britain, Steve Bray, had to make a scene.
Ripping out the poison of anti-Semitism, restoring trust on the economy.
That's actually Keir Starmer's favourite song, Ode to Joy, in the background there, so he probably loved it. Anyway, now, this man is about to become the least democratically elected Prime Minister in history.
I swear by Almighty God that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles.
Should we have a general election now? Farage wants one.
I demand, we at Reform demand, a general election.
But we've had 7 Prime Ministers in 10 years. Britain is becoming a tin pot nation. Even the Italians are laughing at us. So much to go at tonight, so much. On my panel, we have got journalist and broadcaster Benjamin Butterworth. We've got Reform UK's Sir Jake Berry and GB News contributor Connie Shaw. So look, get ready, Britain. Here we go. It's the day you've all been waiting for. Next.
Good evening, your 9 o'clock news from the GB Newsroom with me, Bethany Elsey. Sir Keir Starmer has resigned as Prime Minister and has promised an orderly handover of power within a matter of weeks. In an emotional speech outside Number 10, Sir Keir said every decision he's made in office has been about putting the country he loves first. The new Labour MP for Makerfield, Andy Burnham, looks set to replace him, with the former Health Secretary Wes Streeting ditching his own leadership campaign to back him. But GB News understands there are calls from within the Labour Party for the new Prime Minister to be a woman. And there are also reports tonight dozens of MPs are backing Starmer's Chief Secretary, Darren Jones, to run in the leadership race. Meanwhile, opposition leaders, including Kemi Badenoch and Nigel Farage, are calling for a general election. Former DUP leader Sir Geoffrey Donaldson has been found guilty of 18 historical sex offences against 2 women when they were children. A jury at Newry Crown Court convicted him of 1 count of rape, 13 counts of indecent assault and 4 counts of gross indecency. His wife, Eleanor Donaldson, has been found guilty of aiding and abetting his crimes, which spanned a period between 1985 and 2008. The Met Office has issued a rare red warning for extreme heat. It covers parts of central and southern England and Wales on Wednesday and Thursday. Meanwhile, a 4-day amber weather warning is already in place, with temperatures expected to reach up to 38 degrees this week. Health officials say the wider population is at risk, not just vulnerable groups, and are urging people to take care around open water. A toddler who ended up in a zoo's crocodile enclosure is now stable in hospital. The 3-year-old boy from Cambridgeshire has been in a critical condition in Adamsbrook Hospital since last Thursday after he was allegedly thrown into the enclosure at Johnson's of Oldhurst. A 30-year-old man from Norfolk was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder and later bailed after he was assessed as not being fit for interview. The suspect reportedly has learning difficulties and had been on a trip with carers. And a 36-year-old man has appeared in court charged with 5 counts of attempted murder, aggravated by a terrorist connection after a series of attacks in Edinburgh on Friday. Lewis Hawkes was also charged with 1 count of assault and robbery and 2 counts of breach of the peace. The attacks across the city left 5 people injured and are suspected to have an anti-Muslim motivation. He's been remanded in custody until another hearing in 8 days. Those are your latest headlines. Let's get back to Patrick.
The worst Prime Minister in British history has resigned. Keir Starmer goes in disgrace, but Britain is in big, big trouble. Here is Starmer announcing his resignation.
Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
And this went down very well with the British public when they played it out in pubs across the country.
Has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
Yes, he went on to try to list his achievements.
And look at what we've achieved in just 2 years. An economy that is stronger, growing faster than our peers. Wages rising faster than inflation in every single month since we came to power. Investment secured, infrastructure being built, an end to austerity.
That bloke has got more front than Katie Price. The economy is in the toilet. We've got record youth unemployment. Hundreds of thousands of people have lost their jobs because of him, and he is an absolute joke on the world stage.
Where's the United Kingdom? Where's Russia? Come here. Is everything going good?
Very good.
That's very nice that you're here. These people all came in like 20-minute notice.
But this is the bit that got me.
And when I leave the biggest job in the country, I shall spend more time on the most important job, being the best husband I can to my fantastic wife, Vic, who has been a rock by my side through good times and bad.
Oh, he nearly cried there. He didn't cry after Southport. He didn't cry over Henry Novak. He didn't cry about Rhiannon White. He didn't cry over the Pakistani rape gangs. He didn't cry for farmers or for pensioners or for pub landlords or for children who've had their education ripped away from them thanks to his spiteful VAT hike on private schools. He didn't cry over the horrific attacks on the Jewish community. No, he just cries for himself. Goodbye, good riddance. And good riddance, this horrible little man as well. Starmer's great mate and the Attorney General Lord Hermer, always on the wrong side of history. I believe this man detests all the best things you think our country stands for. Now we can get back to doing what he does best, representing jihadis, people linked to the IRA, and helping to bring prosecutions against innocent, brave British veterans. Get lost. Look at the way the establishment media fawned over him. Kay Burley, I expected more from him. Why? Why did you? You didn't bother to hold him to account at all when he got elected. You probably voted for him. Like Paul down Boris Johnson over Partygate, but didn't seem to care about the unrelenting shower of scandal oozing out of Downing Street for the last 2 years. It takes huge restraint to give a speech as dignified as that. Oh, jog on. Seriously, just jog on. Starmer's speech was interrupted by the utter nuisance Steve Bray with his giant speakers.
Ripping out the poison of anti-Semitism, restoring trust on the economy, defence and national security.
But what was playing was actually Ode to Joy for a while, and Keir Starmer said that was his favourite song. So I don't really see what the problem is there, to be honest. After Starmer resigned, this happened.
Andy Burnham is just arriving into Euston now. He's got a lot of people to meet and a lot of people to talk to.
Andy Burnham got a train from Manchester to London, riding in like Lenin, travelling from exile in Switzerland to Mother Russia to lead the revolution. Then this happened. Wes Streeting, yes, Wes Streeting, decided to back Andy Burnham to be Labour leader. So it looks like there'll be no contest. More on that in a minute. Andy Burnham arrived in London, which must have been awful for him because he's northern. He just likes the north. He just likes chips and gravy, polo tops with jeans and trainers. Then Andy Burnham found a suit, which again just must have been awful for him. Perhaps he just dusted off an old Armani number from his wardrobe and he was sworn in.
Rome is saved.
Yes, Rome is saved, someone shouted. Look at this. All the Labour MPs there, grinning like Cheshire cats behind Burnham. Oh, please, sir, please, can I have a cabinet position? Oh, I love you, Andy. Oh, the King in the North, yay. Andy Burnham has won 0.03% of the national vote. 24,947 people have just elected our new Prime Minister, probably. We've had 7 Prime Ministers in 10 years. These are numbers that tin-pot third world African countries would look at and go, oof, bit dodgy that, isn't it? This is Downing Street, a revolving door of mediocrity, misery and incompetence. And we, the British public, are the victims. This isn't democracy. What we're going to see in Britain in the coming days and weeks is not democracy. At least Liz Truss was actually in cabinet when she became PM. Labour manufactured a by-election and parachuted in a bloke who has tried and failed to become Labour leader twice already, who has a bad record in government, and they're going to let him stand unopposed by the looks of things, so nobody gets to scrutinise what he actually stands for or what his policies are. If, when Keir Starmer won that Labour landslide, I had sat in this chair and told you that in 1 year and 132 days' time, Keir Starmer would resign and Andy Burnham would have essentially been anointed as Prime Minister, you'd have called me mental. Well, here we are. Labour promised change. They've delivered the most chaotic, undemocratic and incompetent government in British history. Let's get the thoughts of my panel this evening. We have got Reform UK member Sir Jake Berry, GB News contributor Connie Shaw and journalist Benjamin Butterworth. Jake, I'll start with you. What do you make of what we've seen today in terms of Keir Starmer's resignation?
Well, look, I think the public is probably really pleased he's gone. He is the most unpopular man in politics in British history. I mean, I just reflect on the fact this is King Charles, or the new Prime Minister will be King Charles III's fourth Prime Minister in 4 years. This element of instability is really bad for our country. And anyone who thinks that Andy Burnham, someone I actually had quite a lot to do with when I was in the Cabinet, I was Minister in charge of local growth in the north of England, he was a mayor in the north of England. I like him, he's a really likeable guy. I just don't rate him. I just don't think he's very good. I don't think he makes tough decisions. He changes his mind as often as other people change socks. Andy Burnham isn't going to be the saviour of our country, nor, in fact, is he going to be the saviour of the Labour Party, despite those hundreds of Labour MPs stood behind him thinking, all they're thinking is the person who has arrived in Westminster who might help us save our jobs. They don't care about the country. I think it's an extraordinary situation. What we now need is a proper general election, a real opportunity for the British people to have their say.
Connie, what did you make of Keir Starmer's resignation speech, trying to list some achievements?
Yeah, I mean, despite anything good that Labour may have been able to, such as perhaps, the renters' rights bill, I know that many people who rent are happy with that, including many of my own friends. But ultimately, I think the thing that's most shocking about today is that it feels surreal that we're here. For so long, we have been thinking, how long will Starmer be able to hang on for this? And like you were saying earlier, the emotions, the fact that it's the first time that we've seen any real emotion from him, on a human level, I start to feel sorry for him, but also then that feels really strange because after the last 2 years that this country has been put through, it feels very wrong to feel sorry for him, but then the human reaction to feel sorry is also natural. So it almost feels like we're being gaslit, and I don't doubt that obviously it's clearly been a really tough time for him. But I think Keir Starmer, I mean, it was reported a few days ago that he felt betrayed by people he thought were his allies. So when people have been thinking that surely he's delusional to think that he can carry on, it seemed he really did think up until this point that he could carry on and that his allies would stick by him, but clearly not. And I'm just fearful for what's going to come because I think the people who voted for Andy Burnham, who was simultaneously the anti-reform and anti-Starmer candidate, are not necessarily going to get what they think they might be getting after this.
I mean, it could actually, seriously, be quite interesting to put a bet on as to whether or not at the general election Andy Burnham loses that seat.
Because make or break a field.
Yeah. No, it could be. It could be.
Come
because
on.
that vote... No, seriously. Because that vote was so fickle. There was so much wrapped into it. It was a vote to get Starmer out. It was all of this stuff. Look, don't get me wrong, he did very well there. He did very well. He got a fantastic result. Reform underperformed. Restore didn't do as well as they said they were going to do. Obviously, the Lib Dems aren't at the races there. The Greens aren't either. But it'd be fascinating to see what happens there. Andy Burnham in power for a couple of years, maybe. And I would not be surprised. That is, naturally speaking, really quite a reform area, but we'll have to watch and see. Benjamin, did you feel sympathy for Keir Starmer standing there today as he gave his resignation speech?
I feel very flat today, if I'm honest, because I think that
you know, Keir Starmer is a person of decency, of dignity, of discipline. I'm afraid I think your monologue...
Is he?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the evidence of that?
Well, the evidence, he's a man of extraordinary discipline. That's one of the reasons why I think he sometimes struggled to be agile as a politician.
You said decency.
Yeah, he's a person of decency.
What's the evidence?
He has behaved in an honourable way. He has honoured the office. He has...
How?
He has been an excellent statesman on the world stage.
You're not actually giving me an example. Sorry, I've asked you a few times for actual examples of that.
I am. He has behaved excellent on the world stage. He's had relationships with incredibly difficult allies like Donald Trump. I think he has carried out the responsibilities without degrading them, like people like Liz Truss and Boris Johnson perpetually did. And I think that he is a person that was motivated to go into politics to fix things. I'm afraid if anyone's not reflecting with decency, it's you to mock him when he talks about the respect he has for his wife and kids.
I'm showing Keir Starmer the exact same level of respect that man has shown patriotic, hard-working, law-abiding British citizens for the best part of the last 2 years. I'm showing him the exact same respect. And if he doesn't like it, then I'm sorry, he should have been a better person. I actually can't see any evidence of him being a decent bloke, to be honest with you, Jack.
So I think the thing is, Ben, I'll just pick you up on one thing. There's lots of good pick you up on. The idea that he has a good relationship with Donald Trump is for the birds. He has destroyed in 2 years the special relationship with the United States, to the point that Donald Trump, the final humiliation for Starmer was Donald Trump announced his resignation on Sunday before Starmer was going to. And actually what I think would have been interesting, if you want to work out whether he's been a decent Prime Minister, you're right, he struggled. I couldn't really hear any achievements. He said, I'm list my achievements, they were sort of tailed off. If he had listed his U-turns, you know, winter fuel, farm tax, you know, all of the U-turns that he's done, and all of the people that he'd lost through incompetence and corruption in some cases in government, we'd still be here now. I mean, this, by any measure, has been a disastrous premiership, both for Keir Starmer and for the Labour Party. This has been a terrible time for Britain. But I'm sorry to tell GB News viewers, I don't think it's going to get better with Burnham.
And look, at 10 p.m, I'm going to be doing a comprehensive roundup.
You're going to list all his
Keir Starmer's time in office, right?
Well, so we get bingo cards.
We can go through it all. Yeah, I mean, it's going to take a while, but we're going to do it because it actually, you know, this guy will be remembered when the history books are written. He'll be remembered terribly. And I'm glad about that, because I don't think this guy likes our country. I just don't. And Connie,
you have no evidence of that.
Trying to give away Chagos, approving the China spy
hub. Who are you to insult
prosecuting
a man?
British veterans?
How dare you assault a man paying tribute to his wife and kids and who served as British Prime Minister for 2 years? Your monologue was factually inaccurate. You got the time he was Prime Minister wrong. He is a person who has given some of the best years of his life while he has his teenage kids, as he's said in the papers in recent days, to serving this country. You are welcome to disagree with everything that he did, but to say he doesn't love the country...
I don't think he loves the country.
He has spent 6 years as Labour leader and 2 years as Prime Minister.
Yeah, OK, so what was his role as a lawyer?
Politics.
What was his role as a lawyer?
Degrade
why did he... Well, I'm not going to take lectures from you, mate, on this, I'm afraid. And I think anyone...
He's done more than any of us, quite frankly.
He's done much more to prosecute British war heroes. Yes, he has. You're absolutely right. That's something I'm willing to say that he's done.
There are 500,000 kids being lifted out of poverty. No, there are people on minimum wage that now have a better chance of paying their bills. There are young people like Connie who now have a better chance of
There are 400,000 more people unemployed, Benjamin.
That is what looking after Britain does.
400,000 more people
that
unemployed.
Your far-right mates and billionaires that wanting to take over this country through Nigel Farage are not getting a good deal.
I don't know any billionaires.
Keir Starmer has behaved
I think you touched a bit of a nerve here, Patrick.
I think you said very defensive.
Look, he's been terrible. The country is in ashes. We may have a new
not in ashes.
Well, we've got 20% unemployment. We've got 17%.
We don't have 20% unemployment.
We've got...
Facts don't care about your feelings,
You're wrong, sorry.
Jake.
21% of all people of working age... You're wrong. It's not 20%. It's 21%.
Well,
of all people of working age... All people of working age are currently not in employment education. 17% of young people are unemployed. And you're trumpeting this as some economic miracle. They've crashed the economy. They've destroyed employment. We've never had higher taxes. This has been a disaster. Good riddance to it.
And can I just say, the central problem will not be fixed by changing Prime Minister.
You're right. Yeah.
And that
the problem is left-wing politics and high taxes.
Absolutely. And we're going to be asking that. Go on.
Benjamin, you just gave an excellent example of why this government has been so much of a failure and has become so unpopular. You instantly jumping to smearing Patrick as having far-right friends. I mean,
he was smearing the Prime Minister's honour.
I'm not. I'm actually giving a factual account of his time in office.
My point being is that Keir Starmer, I think, will be remembered as the Prime Minister who had to deal with the moment that multiculturalism combusted. And their response to the combustion of multiculturalism has been to, instead of addressing the problems, to suppress dissent. And having to deal with Southport as immediately as they get into office, their reaction to the rape gangs becoming basically an international focus, and then calling people for wanting a national inquiry, of accusing them of jumping on a far-right bandwagon, and then eventually U-turning on that. The way that just the lack of urgent response to the migrant sex attacks we've been seeing, the fact that they have capitulated to the demands of Islam, to anti-free speech, the way that they've brought in the Islamophobia definition, and that so many more people. I mean, when Keir Starmer came into the power, the FSU had 14,000 members. We now have over 45,000 members. And that is evident of the fact that this government is particularly authoritarian, and they have done exactly what you have just done there by shaming people for criticising them. And that is what this government has been about, by suppressing dissent rather than tackling the issues.
All right, well, look, luckily, we get to revisit all of this at 10 p.m. And Benjamin, you can go into bat for the Prime Minister again. Absolutely, we appreciate you coming on and giving your views. Anyway, a spokesperson for the Attorney General, Lord Hermer, has previously said over a 30-year legal career, the Attorney General represented many clients, including British military personnel, such as a British soldier killed by IRA terrorists and injured servicemen in the Iraq War. The Attorney has the greatest respect for the armed forces and the sacrifice they've made for our country. Right, OK. Well, time now for the Great British Giveaway, and it's your turn to be the Prime Minister of Great Britain. No, it's not really. It's loads of cash. Here's how you can be in it to win it.
There's just 4 days left for you to grab the chance to win big this summer. Someone has to win our stunning cash prize of £76,543.21. And that person really could be you. Imagine all of the fun you could have this year with that. You could treat the family, treat your friends, make it a super summer for everyone you know. Or just enjoy a bit of me time, safe in the knowledge all those day-to-day financial stresses have been taken care of. £76,543.21 in totally tax-free cash could be yours in time for summer. Make sure you don't miss out, as lines close at 4 p.m. on Friday.
For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Welcome back. Well, coming up, got a bit of this.
We need a general election.
There should be a general election.
We need a general election. We need a general election.
Call a general election.
Oh, no, you just hate it when your own words come back to bite you. With Andy Burnham on course to become Labour leader and our next Prime Minister, is it time for a general election?
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to stop. You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up? About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dordme, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of a matter?
So that's a very live question.
Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way.
You will not want to miss it, trust me. The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Good evening, welcome back. Is it time for a general election? It's time for the head-to-head. Yep, that's right. Should a new Prime Minister seek a fresh mandate from the British people? It's a question Labour repeatedly asked when the Conservatives changed their leaders. Here's a little reminder.
We need a general election.
There should be a general election.
We need a general election.
We need a general election.
Call a general election.
Yes, and let's not forget that Andy Burnham has called for it a couple of times over the years as well. Yes, a change of Prime Minister should go back to the votes. We need to start demanding a general election at the end of this Tory leadership election, said Andy Burnham. Tonight I'm asking, is it time then for a snap general election? Going head-to-head on this tonight are Sean Matthews, Reform Leader of Lincolnshire County Council, and broadcaster and podcaster Lewis Oakley. Chaps, thank you very much. Great to see you both. So, Sean, I'll go to you first. General election?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, regardless of who's running this disastrous government, let's have a general election. I would have called for it last year. It's been an absolute disaster, and the sooner we get on and have a general election and get reform into government and save this country, the better.
Well, Lewis, I suppose just by judging Labour by their own standards there, you've seen the clip of like 6 of them, big hitters saying it, and Andy Burnham himself saying it, then there should be a general election, shouldn't there?
Well, no, because, you know, they clearly have no principles. I'm not here to defend Labour. They said what they said, and they're going to have to face. They're going to have to face it. But what I do think we have to have in politics, if nothing else, is principles, right? And we don't have a presidential system. You know, we're not America. We don't vote for the leader of the party. We actually vote for our individual local MPs that are elected on a manifesto. So, in principle, if Andy Burnham comes in, picks up the manifesto, and says, "Yeah, I'm going to bring this to life," then that's kind of fair enough to me. And I think, you know, a general election right now is not going to be in the public interest, is it? If we have a general election right now, as much as he's talking a good game, Reform aren't ready to fight a general election, the Greens aren't ready, the Conservatives aren't ready. That means we're going to have to rush out candidates, rush out a manifesto, and the British public are going to get to choose between some rushed options and a guy that just became Prime Minister 5 minutes ago. That's not what we need. You know, this system is clearly broken.
All right, Sean, do you want to come back to that?
Yeah, look, we're ready. We've been ready for the last 6 to 8 months. Nigel Farage told us in Birmingham last year that there would be a general election in 2027, if not sooner. The party has been preparing for this the entire time. We're ready to go, completely ready to go. And if that's what's holding you back, don't worry about it. We'll be fine. We will win the next election, and it will be hopefully.
Sorry. So Reform gets in, fine, and then, God forbid, you know, Nigel Farage gets a call from his doctor within the first week and unfortunately has to step down. Nothing to do with his policies, to do with his health or the health of somebody he loves. Should there then be a general election a week later, after you've just had a general election? We can't just because we've had people step down in disgrace, there are other reasons people may leave office. If we change the rules that every time a prime minister steps down, you have to go back to the public, we could be going to the public all the time, and that's what to see as well.
It's a very good option, thing to talk about, and actually Nigel Farage mentioned it today. Unless there's ill health, I don't think, and I think the party agrees with this, that you can change your Prime Minister willy-nilly. I think it's time we stop that nonsense. 7 Prime Ministers in 10 years is absolutely uni-party policy all over the place. It's got to stop. And actually, health is the only reason that I would think that it's a reasonable excuse to change your Prime Minister.
I just want to bring up, there's a picture that we've got, I think, of Keir Starmer's manifesto that he launched. And so there you go. So that was the manifesto. So it was a big picture of Keir Starmer with the word change on it. It wasn't the Labour cabinet. It wasn't, all Labour MPs. It wasn't a map of Britain. It was, if you vote for Labour at this general election, you are voting for Keir Starmer to be your Prime Minister on this manifesto of change. And then if we bring up what Andy Burnham had during this Makerfield by-election, I think we've got a picture of it, I hope. There is not a single mention. There you go. Vote Andy. Vote Hope. That I can't see a single Labour sign there, unless I'm missing something, but I can't see a single Labour sign. So, Lewis, to your point about how Labour has a mandate because the people voted for them, they don't really, do they? They voted for Keir Starmer on a manifesto of change, and now we're going to get a bloke who doesn't want to tell anyone that he's actually Labour.
It doesn't matter what was on the front of the manifesto. The system is you vote for your local MP, and you vote, I don't know how else to explain this to you. We are not America. We don't elect a prime minister. We elect the local MPs. I mean, and look, the thing is, I know that this all is good theatre for us because we're in the media, and a general election that'd be exciting. But realistically, I don't think it's what's good for the country. I don't think it's the principles we should have. I think that if we have that system that you're talking about, that if a prime minister goes and we have to change. We have to go to a general election. I think that weakens MPs. I think MPs then are going to say, oh, you know what? Don't really believe in the leader. He's not really good, but I'm going to keep him there anyway because I don't want a general election right now. I think that actually MPs being able to say, Prime Minister, your time's up. Off you go. We have to get someone else in.
You talk about principles. You talk about principles. What about the principles of honesty and integrity? Are you starting a prime ministership with Unibow Burnham with the largest hypocrisy you could imagine by standing there saying in 2022 we've got to have a general election, but you're talking about the Tory party, but oh no, it's not us, we're better than them, we don't need to do that, we tell them what we want, but we don't do the same back. That's nonsense.
Yeah, but this is my point really, because you also, Andy Burnham said this, Andy Burnham said that. I'm talking about the principles of how we govern, not about what one MP has said. The truth is we've had seven prime ministers in 10 years. The system is clearly broken. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the 24-hour news cycle, the social media. These positions are not tenable.
I mean, there is that. It might be that they're useless. Look, I don't know how long it can realistically hold that we've got a bloke who's got something like 24,500 people voted for him in one constituency, and that he then is Prime Minister for a year. I just don't know realistically how that can hold. But both of you, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, I don't know, morally. I mean, remember those? Morals? Anyway, Sean Matthews there, Reform Leader of Lincolnshire County Council and broadcaster and podcaster Lewis Oakley. Right, OK, well, coming up.
Ripping out the poison of anti-Semitism, restoring trust on the economy.
Oh, Keir Starmer's resignation speech drowned out in part there by an activist playing Ode to Joy. Do we need to ban that kind of stuff? But before that, Reform UK Treasury spokesperson Robert Jenrick. He joins us live in the studio next.
Be nice to escape the grey.
Clear skies, here we come.
As clear as our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello. The heatwave is continuing across central and northeastern parts of Europe. Thunderstorms now also breaking out, with temperatures being 10 to 15 degrees above average. A cloudier picture across the Canary Islands with some showers here, but for the vast majority it's going to be hot again. Sunny spells, but also thunderstorms breaking out as we go into the week. And that theme does continue. We'll see more in the way of some thunderstorms, but the heat moving its way further eastwards.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Evening, welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Temperatures will continue to rise over the next few days, probably peaking on Thursday. We have Met Office amber and a red extreme heat warning. The red in place for Wednesday and Thursday, broader amber warnings in place for much of this week, covering most of England and Wales. Temperatures are going to be breaking records, pushing the mid to high 30s. We've seen temperatures over 30 degrees today, some heavy showers crossing eastern parts, very hit and miss, but some thunderstorms likely here and there. It's nowhere near as hot across Scotland and Northern Ireland. Reasonably comfortable night across northern Scotland, but the warmth is pushing north into southern Scotland and Northern Ireland. But in the south, temperatures likely to hold up over 20 Celsius in some towns and cities. Still a possibility of the overnight heavy thundery showers across parts of the southeast early on, but they should be clearing away. And then it's basically a sunny and hot day to come on Tuesday. It might start fairly cloudy, perhaps a little misty in some locations, but generally a fine start to the day. Some showers across Shetland. They should be pulling away through the course of the morning, as should any showers over northern England or the far southeast, drifting away to reveal plenty of hazy sunshine up and down the country with light winds. And as we're starting the day in the high teens or even low 20s, the temperatures are just going to tick up steadily with the powerful June sunshine, so that by the time we get to the afternoon, we're looking at widely over 30 Celsius across England and Wales, high 20s for parts of Northern Ireland and southern Scotland. And in this central zone, we could be up to 35, 36, maybe 37 degrees Celsius, potentially the hottest June day on record. Wednesday, hotter still. Again, lots of sunshine across the country. Temperatures probably peaking on Thursday before dipping a little on Friday. Those weather warnings are on the Met Office website in full.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
All right, welcome back to Patrick Christys tonight. There's only one story in town, isn't there? The resignation of Sir Keir Starmer. Andy Burnham has now been sworn in as the Labour MP for Makerfield following last Thursday's by-election victory. He's expected to become Labour's next leader. Well, here's what Reform UK leader Nigel Farage has had to say.
What is going on here, frankly, is reminiscent of a banana republic that has totally devalued the very process of general elections and democracy. I demand, we at Reform demand, a general election.
Well, joining us now is Reform UK Treasury spokesperson Robert Jenrick. Thank you very much. Great to have you. Is Reform ready for a general election? Should there be one?
Yeah, absolutely. We're ready, and bring it on. Look, you've got Andy Burnham coming down to London. He's got the mandate of one constituency. He didn't even stand at the last general election on the Labour Party's manifesto. He doesn't seem to know what he's going to do. He is now going to take at least 3 weeks to come up with some policies and a cabinet and choose his chancellor if he hasn't already done a deal with Wes Streeting. Maybe it's going to be longer than that. Maybe the whole thing drags on over the summer, in which case we just have a lost summer where literally no one is running our country. This has got to come to an end. That we need to have a general election. And I tell you, it's not just the drift and the delay and the lack of a mandate. It is that Andy Burnham is going to turn out to be Keir Starmer in a polo shirt. he's going to be exactly the same kind of leader. He's trapped in the same mindset. It's going to be high taxes to pay for people on benefits. It's going to be high energy bills for Ed Miliband's madness with net zero. He's not going to stop the boats and secure our borders. If you want real change in this country, which is what I believe millions and millions of people are seeking, the only way we can get that is if we have a general election and get Labour out.
OK, all right. I wonder if it might be a slight case of be careful what you wish for. There was some polling, I'm sure you've seen this, it was by Ipsos, I believe, earlier today, which I think I might be able to bring up. And it's basically a straight head-to-head of Nigel Farage versus Andy Burnham. Now, Nigel Farage beats Burnham when it comes to personality, OK, which is not so much of a shock. However, on everything else, Andy Burnham does win. Things like, is he in touch with ordinary people? Is he a likeable person? Is he an experienced leader? Which is a bit odd, but anyway. Is he a capable leader? Burnham wins. Is he good in a crisis? Burnham wins. That kind of stuff.
Sure, Patrick, but he hasn't yet been tested. That hasn't hit the reality of actually running the country, and I am confident that he'll be found out by the British public pretty quickly.
OK, all right. And, your thoughts there as Keir Starmer stood at Downing Street and gave his resignation, his chin wobbled a bit at one point. Did you feel sorry for him?
Well, not especially, no. I mean, these are all human sagas and politicians are just human beings at the end of the day. But you are the leader of our country, and invested in you is an incredible responsibility. And the truth was that Keir Starmer was fundamentally unsuited to be Prime Minister. He was not a leader. And worse than that, he broke his promises to the British public. And he's just the latest in a long line of Prime Ministers who did that. Who said they're going to do one thing, did the opposite. And where are we as a country? Well, we've continued to drift and decline for another 2 years. And I just worry that unless we arrest this decline, at some point it is going to be too late for this country. And for people like you and I, for our kids, we were bringing up, I just worry that at some point this is going to be, we're going to go too far down this line, and you've got to have someone to come in and actually grip this country and get it back on its feet. That was not Keir Starmer. He didn't even really try. I don't believe it's going to be Andy Burnham. That is why we need a general election, so we can get somebody with courage and conviction to be our Prime Minister, with a clear sense of direction, and get this country back on its feet. And I think that's Nigel, and it is reform.
Look, I know that some people on the left will be saying, well, look, when you switched from the Tories to Reform, you didn't have a by-election in your seat, so why should we have a general election now? Andy Burnham, he's won the mandate of the people of Makerfield.
Well, I tell you one thing. He campaigned for a general election when there were previous changes of Prime Minister. So he would be a massive hypocrite, wouldn't he, if now he finds himself in exactly the same position as Boris and Liz and Rishi when he was firing off tweets back in the day, if he went into number 10 and didn't call a general election. That's the difference here, that he campaigned in the past for others to do exactly the same.
OK, all right. And, of course, it does mean several other things as well. I mean, Rachel Reeves probably goes. She had a face like thunder today. I think she realised she might have to go back and
I don't think the country
will
mourn the loss of Rachel Reeves. And I guess she can dust off that famous CV and say that she was Chancellor for 10 years, like she was an economist to the Bank of England for 10 years. But look, I mean, of course, there's a degree of personal sympathy for people in difficult times, but if you look at what Rachel Reeves has done over the course of the last 2 years, the disastrous decisions that she made to hike taxes on business so it's harder to employ people, 200,000 more people out of work, what she did for small businesses, for pubs and hospitality, for farmers. I literally met with GBNews the son of a farmer who'd hung himself, a day before her first budget because he was so fearful of the family farm tax that actually came in. And so there have been real-life tragedies, immense harm done to our country over the course of the last 2 years with Rachel Reeves as our Chancellor.
So just finally on this, I know you want a general election, and there's obviously a strong case for that, just kind of democratically speaking, absolutely. But slightly fearful of a Tory bounce. I mean, they won Aberdeen South, didn't they? And Kemi Badenoch's had a bit of a bump in the
Has
polls
she?
recently?
Has she? Look, I think that the Tory party is basically irrelevant. They exist in pockets of the country, like the sort of right-wing Lib Dems, if you can call them that. You know, maybe they're in Aberdeen's most salubrious suburb. Maybe they're in Kensington and Wandsworth, but they're not in Newark and Nottinghamshire. They are not a national party anymore. And it is more clear than ever today that if a general election comes in the next few months, or indeed in 3 years, it will be a straight choice. Do you want Andy Burnham and Labour to run this country, or do you want Nigel and Reform? And the only reason that Labour have got rid of Keir Starmer today is because they're so worried that Reform is going to win the next general election. Because of the election results in May, because of what they're seeing and hearing on the doorsteps across the country.
All right, Robert, thank you very much for your time. As always, Robert Jenrick there, who is Reform UK's Treasury spokesperson. The message is loud and clear, isn't it? Their general election now. Coming up...
Well, what a mess.
Yeah, what a mess indeed. More on that shortly. I'm going to be breaking down Keir Starmer's achievements, if you want to call them that, in office. First, though, an activist playing a song nearly drowned out Keir Starmer's resignation speech. Do we need to ban what that bloke does? That's next.
Yeah.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Which of us doesn't like a puffin? Which of us doesn't like a dolphin? I mean, come on, we love these creatures. I bet your fellow guest loves them. Let's ask him, shall we?
OK. Rafe, how do you feel about dolphins?
Yeah, there's nothing uniquely British about the dolphin. There are very few uniquely British species. And the key point here is that it's young nations that use flora and fauna. Nations with a proud history and legacy, such as Britain does, we celebrate our past, we celebrate our great achievements. Banknotes are a symbol of national identity, and they are symbols of sovereignty. They rank right up there with the flag, the crown, with our coat of arms, and our honour system as symbols of the British nation. We live in an age now where people are so ignorant of history. Banknotes are one of the very few occasions when people actually get to be introduced to historical figures and learn about them.
GB News, the People's Channel. GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
He or she is obliged to write an equality impact assessment for every single policy that Kingston Council does. This person has come up with something which is simply true. Women do more domestic tasks than men. Women like to look nice. This person has stated something true. For this, the Kingston Council has now, and I'll read it out, they've apologised. They've issued a statement. Guess what? They've launched an investigation. And now they're going to review their procedures. I mean, this is a woke doom spiral. And it's the faster we can get away from these equality impact assessments, the public sector equality duty that drives all this, the better.
The People's Channel. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Dorothea, how does it feel being here today, joining other veterans?
Everybody was so friendly in those days. We had one purpose in life, which was to free the world from Nazism and to get on with enjoying life. And it's so nice now that they're still looking to see if any of us are left, poor old dears, so they can say thank you and we can get together and talk about it. After the war, you simply didn't mention it. It went out of everybody's consciousness.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Well, in about 10 minutes' time, I'm going to be stuck right into Keir Starmer's achievements in office. But before that, anti-Brexit protester Steve Bray has been slammed for blasting Ode to Joy as the Prime Minister resigned.
Ripping out the poison of anti-Semitism, restoring trust on the economy, defence and national security. And
But he's got form, hasn't he? He was there when Rishi Sunak announced the 2024 general election.
Here today, I spoke with His Majesty the King to request the dissolution of Parliament. The King has granted this request, and we will have a general election on the 4th of July.
Police did actually arrest Steve Bray in 2024 and confiscated his speakers for breaching restrictions on loudspeakers around Parliament, but a magistrate acquitted him, ruling that he had a reasonable excuse under European human rights laws to freedom of expression and peaceful assembly. Is it time we changed those rules, do we think? Joining us to discuss this now is free speech lawyer Elliot Hammer. Elliot, thank you very much. Where are you on this then? You know, do you think that Steve Bray is annoying but should be allowed to carry on, or do you think we should ban him?
Yeah, he's very annoying, but I think we should let him carry on because it seems to me, as you just saw in your report then, he did the same to Rishi, he's doing it to Keir, and to be perfectly frank, Keir Starmer has been such a dreadful Prime Minister, I don't really want to listen to him. And it brought a bit of joy to my life when I heard the music pumping over Keir Starmer. So I think we need some protection. We need people to be able to take the mick out of our Prime Minister.
One of the problems that I have, Elliot, sorry, we've got a little slight issue with your microphone there, but we're going to persevere. One of the issues that I've got with Steve Bray is that, like, it's fun sometimes. It's comical. I get it, you know, fine, OK, everyone's got the right to do it. But we have got a little clip of he does it during news broadcasts, or he certainly did do it during news broadcasts quite often. And sometimes that has coincided with actually really terrible news, right? So you're talking about, like, the death of someone or something. And because he's not actually listening to what's being said, he just starts blasting stuff out the back of it. So there's a decency aspect to it there. But also it is very disruptive. I think we've got a little bit of a clip here of you'll see them around the Parliament area where all the news people stand. And we did have the clip. I think we'll get it back in a second. But, you know, where basically he's out there, they're blasting the music and they're just ruining it. You can't hear what they're saying. Here it is. And why does Steve Bray's human rights overrule the human rights of everybody else in the country to be able to listen to the news?
Can you hear me, Royce? So yeah, I mean, it's a typical question. It's a typical kind of conflict of rights here. We all want to hear the Prime Minister speak, but he wants to play loud music. And look, yeah, he's a complete pain. I get that. But the thing is what are we going to do? Are we going to have a rule that says in Westminster, when the Prime Minister is speaking, you've all got to be very, very quiet and hush and hush, and nobody's allowed to speak above a whisper? What are we going to do? What kind of law are we going to pass for that?
Yeah, well, quite indeed. Look, I do appreciate you coming on, Elliot. I'm very, very sorry. There is a slight issue with your microphone, but I think most people were just about able to hear it, so we will leave it there. But it's Elliot Hammer, though. It's a free speech lawyer. And look, this might not be the most popular view because I do find Steve Bray quite annoying. That's his shtick, though. He's deliberately annoying, isn't he? So we're supposed to find him annoying. That said, though, I don't think I really want to live in a country where people like that are banned. And it's interesting that you have some, I'll just call them left-wing journalists like Lewis Goodall, who did not, as far as I can see, particularly seem to complain about when he did it to Rishi Sunak, but said it was terrible when he did it today to Keir Starmer. So potentially a bit of hypocrisy there. But anyway, coming up, got a bit of this.
Well, what a mess.
What a mess. Keir Starmer has resigned. I'm going to basically delve into his legacy. And there's all of tomorrow's newspapers and also Andy Burnham. We need to get to know who this guy is before he wanders into Downing Street. I've got all the gory details.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Evening, welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Temperatures will continue to rise over the next few days, probably peaking on Thursday. We have Met Office Amber and a red extreme heat warning. The red in place for Wednesday and Thursday. Broader amber warnings in place for much of this week, covering most of England and Wales. Temperatures are going to be breaking records, pushing the mid to high 30s. We've seen temperatures over 30 degrees today. Some heavy showers crossing eastern parts, very hit and miss, but some thunderstorms likely here and there. It's nowhere near as hot across Scotland and Northern Ireland. A reasonably comfortable night across northern Scotland, but the warmth is pushing north into southern Scotland and Northern Ireland. But in the south, temperatures likely to hold up over 20 Celsius in some towns and cities. Still a possibility of the overnight heavy thundery showers across parts of the southeast early on, but they should be clearing away. And then it's basically a sunny and hot day to come on Tuesday. It might start fairly cloudy, perhaps a little misty in some locations, but generally a fine start to the day. Some showers across Shetland. They should be pulling away through the course of the morning, as should any showers over northern England or the far southeast, drifting away to reveal plenty of hazy sunshine up and down the country with light winds. And as we're starting the day in the high teens or even low 20s, the temperatures are just going to tick up steadily with the powerful June sunshine, so that by the time we get to the afternoon, we're looking at widely over 30 Celsius across England and Wales, high 20s for parts of Northern Ireland and southern Scotland. And in this central zone, we could be up to 35, 36, maybe 37 degrees Celsius, potentially the hottest June day on record. Wednesday, hotter still. Again, lots of sunshine across the country. Temperatures probably peaking on Thursday before dipping a little on Friday. Those weather warnings are on the Met Office website in full.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello from the Imperial Island Resort in Paphos, and it's the final week to see how you could win big in time for summer. Someone has to win our stunning cash prize of £76,543.21. Just don't miss out as lines close on the 26th of June.
For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howard. This is the show where each week we see what's happening in the world of culture, current affairs and politics.
First we'll say, welcome to the UK. Oh, thank you.
And we're not afraid to use our free speech so that you can use yours.
It's not controversial in the slightest to anyone who hasn't lost their mind.
Free Speech Nation, Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
It's 10 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys. Tonight,
Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
finally, Keir Starmer's gone, and it's gone down so well with the British public.
That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
Oh, and of course, he nearly cried.
To my fantastic wife, Vic, who has been a rock by my side through good times and bad.
Well, boo-hoo. Now you know how we felt for the last 2 years. But obviously, the most annoying man in Britain, Steve Bray, had to make a scene.
Ripping out the poison of anti-Semitism, restoring trust on the economy.
Yes, now this man is about to become the least democratically elected Prime Minister in history.
I swear by Almighty God that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles.
Should we have a general election now? Nigel Farage wants one.
I demand, we at Reform demand, a general election.
But we've had 7 Prime Ministers in 10 years. Britain is becoming a tin pot nation. Even the Italians and various different African countries are laughing at us. So much to go at tonight, including a first look at tomorrow's newspaper front pages as the country reacts to the PM's resignation. There you go, Starmer bows out, says The Guardian. On my panel tonight, we have got Reform UK's Sir Jake Berry, GB News contributor Connie Shaw and journalist and broadcaster Benjamin Butterworth. So, get ready, Britain. Here we go. Starmer's about to get exactly what he deserves. Next.
Good evening. Your top stories at 10 o'clock from the GB newsroom. Sir Keir Starmer has resigned as Prime Minister and has promised an orderly handover of power within a matter of weeks.
Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party. I will do everything I can to ensure an orderly handover of power. I will also give my successor my full and unequivocal support.
In an emotional speech outside Number 10, Sir Keir also paid tribute to his wife and family.
And when I leave the biggest job in the country, I shall spend more time on the most important job, being the best husband I can to my fantastic wife, Vic, who has been a rock by my side through good times and bad.
I swear by Almighty God that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles, his heirs and successors, according to law. So help me.
The new Labour MP for Makerfield, Andy Burnham, looks set to replace him, with the former Health Secretary Wes Streeting ditching his own leadership campaign to back him. But GB News understands there are calls from within the party for the new Prime Minister to be a woman. And there are also reports tonight that dozens of MPs are backing Starmer's Chief Secretary, Darren Jones, to run in the leadership race. Meanwhile, opposition leaders, including Kemi Badenoch and Nigel Farage, are calling for a general election. Former DUP leader Sir Geoffrey Donaldson has been found guilty of 18 historical sex offences against 2 women when they were children. A jury at Newry Crown Court convicted him of 1 count of rape, 13 counts of indecent assault and 4 counts of gross indecency. His wife, Eleanor Donaldson, has been found guilty of aiding and abetting his crimes, which spanned a period between 1985 and 2008. The Met Office has issued a rare red warning for extreme heat. It covers parts of central and southern England and Wales on Wednesday and Thursday. A 4-day amber weather warning is already in place, with temperatures expected to reach up to 38 degrees this week. And a 36-year-old man has appeared in court charged with 5 counts of attempted murder aggravated by a terrorist connection after a series of attacks in Edinburgh on Friday. Lewis Hawkes was also charged with 1 count of assault and robbery and 2 counts of breach of the peace. The attacks, which left 5 people injured, are suspected to have an anti-Muslim motivation. He's been remanded in custody until another hearing in 8 days. Those are your latest headlines. I'll be back with more at 11.
Good riddance to Keir Starmer. Over the course of the next few days, you're going to see people try to rewrite history and praise him for the job he did as Prime Minister. So show them this. Keir Starmer shouldn't have even really been Labour leader. He somehow got away with beer and Cormergate during COVID. He also got away with meeting his voice coach during lockdown. And he got away with using Lord Wahid Ali's penthouse to give speeches during COVID, calling for us all to be locked in our own homes for longer and sticking a few family pics behind him to make it look like he was slumming it in his home like the rest of us. There was a constant tidal wave of scandal, freebies and cronyism. Starmer's son used Lord Ali's £18 million penthouse to revise for his GCSEs, despite his exams reportedly finishing way before he moved out. Starmer failed to declare around £32,000 worth of clothes and 2.5 grand's worth of glasses that Lord Ali bought him, as well as the thousands he spent on clothes for Starmer's wife. Keir Starmer gave Lord Ali a pass to Downing Street. Massive scandal. Then we had the free tickets to go and see Taylor Swift perform at Wembley. Starmer appointed Rachel Reeves as the most incompetent Chancellor ever, a woman who stands accused of lying on her CV.
You told Stylist magazine that you'd worked at the Bank of England for a decade. In fact, it was only 6 years. It was stated that you worked as an economist at the Bank of England, the British Embassy in Washington, and latterly at the Halifax Bank of Scotland. But according to your former colleagues, in your actual job, you actually worked in a support department at Scottish Bank, and you sort of helped out with admin and IT, and that's all earned you the nickname of Rachel from Accounts. Did you enhance your CV?
Well, she can go back to working in complaints now, can't she? Starmer tried to remove the winter fuel payment from pensioners, meaning they might freeze in their own homes. He crippled farmers with a death tax. One poor farmer took his own life because he was that worried about his family's finances as a result. He hammered pubs. Somewhere in the region of 520 pubs have closed since he became Prime Minister. Unemployment is up by somewhere in the region of 400,000. Youth unemployment is over 16%. 27 non-EU migrants were offered a job for every 1 British national. He's introduced or raised about 60 taxes in just under 2 years. He said he'd smash the gangs.
Smash the gangs, smash the gangs, smash the gangs, smash the gangs, smash the gangs.
We have had record days in the channel. The asylum backlog is now the biggest it's ever been. 123,000. Rapists, murderers, terrorists, paedophiles, they've all flocked to Starmer's Britain, and they've been moved out of hotels and into military barracks or taxpayer-funded houses in your area. Then you've been called a racist for not wanting them there. His government went to court to fight to keep migrant hotels open and argued that the rights of asylum seekers trump the rights of local British people. He spent about 17 seconds laying a wreath at Southport after the massacre by a lunatic who probably would have been sectioned if he wasn't black. Then he went back to Downing Street and attended a garden party with a load of lovely celebrities. Disgusting. Then Starmer called for people to be locked up for social media posts.
And I'm now expecting substantive sentencing before the end of this week. That should send a very powerful message.
Starmer tried to give away British sovereign territory, the Chagos Islands. He can't stop people crossing the Channel, but when British citizens go to Chagos to protect their own islands, he could get a border force boat to the most remote islands in the world within 24 hours to serve them with an eviction notice. He was so weak he couldn't cut the welfare bill, so now we have record amounts of people on benefits and not enough money for our armed forces. And Rachel Reeves cried about it. tried and failed to delay the local elections, like a dictator. There were times he pretended to get it.
We risk becoming an island of strangers, not a nation that walks forward together.
Then he said, sorry, I didn't mean that. I hadn't even read the speech beforehand. I don't believe that. Whoopsie. We've had a huge rise in anti-Semitism, anti-Semitic terror attacks. So what does he do? Recognises Palestine as a state and lets them open an embassy in London with Hamas still in charge of Gaza. And I don't remember him actually calling for them to return the hostages during the speech where he did that. Mental. He showed he did not care about the victims of Pakistani rape gangs by delaying a national inquiry into the scandal.
Calling for inquiries because they want to jump on a bandwagon of the far right.
His government has ruined the education of about 30,000 children because of his jealous, chip-on-the-shoulder politics of envy private school tax hike. He was just constantly, utterly, relentlessly humiliating.
I call again for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages.
He introduced votes for 16-year-olds, in my view, to try to rig elections towards the left forever. The NHS is now experimenting with puberty blockers on 11-year-olds again. That is sickening. His government took ages to issue guidance to block blokes from women's toilets. He approved a Chinese super embassy so that China can almost definitely spy on every single one of us. Madness. They promised to sort out your energy bills.
And that's why the Labour Party has a fully costed plan to freeze energy bills this winter.
Your bills have gone up, and now they've found asbestos in wind turbines. Right to the last minute. He was a national embarrassment for us on the world stage, being blanked by Trump at the G7. It's the fact he tries to join in a bit that really gets me. And then he even missed the photo call, so he wasn't there for the picture. They empty-chaired him. He welcomed a literal Islamist jihadi terrorist, Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara, into Downing Street. He did nothing to stop more than 100 Russian shadow vessels sailing through the English Channel. He eventually boarded one of them, and he just wanted to look like the big man, didn't he, after his Defence Secretary and Armed Forces Minister resigned. And then he covered for the Kremlin after the Russians shot at a couple of British pensioners in the Channel. He pressed ahead with prosecuting British war veterans. Members of our most elite SAS unit resigned because of it. He was mugged off at the darts. He was mugged off again at the football. He was mugged off again at the races. A pathetic, unpatriotic, weak, unprincipled, empty husk of a man. Finally, he has found the right words for the occasion to show how the British public really feels.
Off.
Sorry, just so we're clear again. Sorry, Sir Keir, what was that?
Off.
Yeah. Goodbye, good riddance. History will remember you terribly. Let's get thoughts from my panel this evening. Journalist and broadcaster Benjamin Butterworth. We've got Reform UK member Sir Jake Berry and GBNews contributor Connie Shaw. Yeah, Jake, I mean, is that Starmer's legacy there, really? I mean, I've probably missed a few things out.
Well, you didn't get into the U-turns, but, yeah. I mean, just what a terrible 2 years. This guy was elected with what was dubbed by the media as the Ming Bar strategy, which is you're so desperate to get rid of the Conservatives, the Tories, you'll literally vote for anything, no matter whether it tells you, whether the Prime Minister tells you what he's going to do. He was elected on a very shallow mandate. He had no plan to govern. He had no plan for Britain. And he's been found out very quickly by the British people. It's goodbye, Keir. Good riddance to you. And let's hope for Britain what comes next will be significantly better than the appalling 2 years we've had under his leadership.
How do you think he'll be remembered in the history books, Connie?
Well, as I said earlier, as one of the most authoritarian or someone who's led the most authoritarian government in recent years, let's not forget that the very person who stepped down in order for Andy Burnham to run in Makerfield was Josh Simons, who had a huge part to play in Labour Together, which was, I mean, the FSU's exposed, basically we've called it Starmer's misinformation mafia, that organisation going after journalists who criticise the Labour Party has just been extraordinary. I mean, yes, the absolute just suppression of any dissent, because ultimately, the way that the demographics of this country has changed so rapidly over the last 30 years, and Shabana Mahmood, said it herself, that 1 in 30 people living in this country arrived here in the last 5 years. You cannot possibly govern a country where the British people are, against their will, being forced to accept something that is entirely alien to them, and it means that because different communities or different populations demand different treatment, and because this government in particular has chosen a specific and very determined path of appeasement of these certain communities, then that means that you cannot govern everyone fairly. And I think there's this deep sense in the country that British people feel like they are not being treated equally under the law, and I think that is what it's 2-tier care, 2-year care now. I mean, there's so many variations of this you can come up with. That's what he'll be remembered for, I think.
Yeah, Benjamin, I mean, look, you obviously are much more supportive of Keir Starmer than anyone else here, fair enough, but, I just can't get my head around it. I feel like he was the worst possible Prime Minister at the worst possible time for Britain with everything that we've got going on as a country.
I think Keir Starmer, and he said this often before he got the top job, was someone who didn't like politics. He came into it because he saw that there were problems and he wanted to fix them. And having, been Director of Public Prosecutions, that gives you a lot of things that you can fix and have impact on, and not so much political public critique. I think the problem is that he ultimately couldn't fix a fundamental problem with himself, which is that he's incapable of telling a story about the things he's doing or engaging emotionally with the public. And in a democracy, that is essential to get permission to fix things. And so I think that has been his undoing. What I don't accept is that he is an indecent man or an unprincipled or undignified person. I think he is all of those things. But I think, I'm hardly the first to say that maybe he could have had more impact in a different job to the one of Prime Minister. He always said his dream job was Attorney General, and he rather overshot his own expectations. But I don't think that... I think ultimately the fact that he was hated by part of the electorate says more about the electorate than him. Well, I think Britain has got itself...
Hated by a lot of people, mate. He was the least popular Prime Minister in British history.
I just said that myself.
He made it sound like there's like a small cabal of people who don't like him. It's like, almost everyone.
Well, it's not almost everybody. That, of course, is a ridiculous exaggeration,
it's not.
like much of your monologue. But
thank you very much, Benjamin.
The truth is that Britain is in a position where it has been for far longer than these 2 years infantilised and misled by politicians. And I'm afraid that I don't see anybody, including so far Andy Burnham, who is being serious and confrontational about the problems.
OK.
That remains.
All right. I think, look, there's just so much I could have put in there, but, like, literally I could have doubled that monologue. But it's the lies. I think he's the most deceitful Prime Minister we've ever had, Jake. I mean, there was the one bit that really stands out for me, just to emphasise, I think, how easily this man lies, was at the Labour Party conference, he stood up and he told this anecdote about how he went round to some woman's house, I think it was in Oldham, and he went in for a cup of tea and a rich tea biscuit, and they spoke a bit about immigration or something, and it was all lovely. Anyway, we tracked her down, and she said, actually, what happened was Keir Starmer knocked on my door, he came in, I complained about immigration, he called me a racist, and she kicked him out. I mean, he couldn't even be honest about that, and that was basically the only anecdote he had in his life about an interaction with the British public. I mean, the guy lies like we breathe.
Yeah, I think, actually, it's a similar problem as Boris Johnson had. You can't be untruthful, because eventually your lies will catch up with you, won't they? And the thing he criticised Boris for, I think he was just as guilty, arguably more guilty, because at least Boris never claimed to be a saint. Keir Starmer did, and we found out that he wasn't. Look, the real challenge this country has is that as long as we have a government that believes the cure to the problem we have in this country, unemployment, the challenge with our energy prices, is to become more and more left-wing, the problems will never go away. And that's to talk about what will come next. Clearly Keir Starmer has failed. I think the next iteration of this Labour government will fail again, because the MPs who greeted Andy Burnham in Westminster Hall earlier today, they all genuinely believe that the reason that Keir Starmer isn't popular, the reason the Labour government isn't popular, is because they're not left-wing enough. What this government actually needs is some real change, lower taxes, restore things like freedom of speech, restore pride in our country again, and then we will stand a chance of turning the corner.
Well, before we go, give Conor the final word on this. I mean, you know, I do think that Keir Starmer has lied repeatedly about things. Do you think that's one thing that's done for him here?
I think his ultimate problem is that he isn't a person who's able to explain why he's come to a conclusion, and I think he's a mediator more than a leader. And so I don't think that he is a liar or an untrustworthy person, but he sometimes struggled to come to strong conclusions, and that led him down that path. But you know, I think the central questions remain the same, and we need to build houses, build infrastructure, and turn off the champagne taps for pensioners. That is what the next Prime Minister needs to do.
Absolutely ridiculous thing to say, and you know it as well. The champagne taps for pensioners.
170 billion on welfare for retirees is unsustainable.
There you go.
I hope Andy Burnham
Next time I go up to a place like Stanley in the northeast, where they're living in old cottages, where they used to all work down the pits, and they were having their winter fuel payments taken off from them, with the best will in the world, Benjamin, I don't think those people have seen a bottle of champagne ever, right? So I think that's a really nasty thing to say about some elderly
It's
people.
not nasty, because we give money to the wealthiest part of the country and not to the people that you're describing, and that is a central problem.
One of the things that stands out for me, and I hope this is a lesson for people, because for a long time there's been a lot of very snivelling people around the North London area who work in human rights law and all of this, who've thought, oh, we know how to run a country. Well, we've given it a go now. We elected a bloke who used to want to abolish the monarchy. We've elected a bloke who's got a track record of a human rights lawyer that, frankly, makes most self-respecting people in this country wince, given his back catalogue of people. We put one of them as the Attorney General, you know, someone who I think is probably a bit ashamed of our flag and needs Gary Lineker next to him so we can talk it up. We need to just never do this again.
Yeah, I think, as you say, Patrick, we alluded, the feeling that these politicians think that the issue isn't them, is that actually the British people, their thinking just needs to be corrected. And even what you were saying there, Benjamin, the problem is with the electorate. I mean, even looking at Andy Burnham's speech, he's going to be he said the best thing about his win was the fact that Makerfield had avoided another event where this country had turned towards darkness and division. Yeah. And he is referring to people who voted for Reform UK and Restore Britain. But he also simultaneously claims that he will proudly represent every person in Makerfield, no matter whether they voted for him or not. Yeah. But he's still insulting these people of wanting darkness and division. These politicians think that they know best, and they pretend to understand the concerns of people up and down the country, no matter whether they've themselves have been affected by immigration, and instead would rather suppress those and dismiss them rather than actually address the problem.
Well, it's a great point to end this discussion on, because actually we are going to look at now Andy Burnham and what he stands for or doesn't stand for, what kind of Prime Minister, as it looks increasingly likely he will be, what kind of Prime Minister is he going to be. But I do need to tell you about the great British giveaway. Yay! It's loads of cash. Here's how you can to win it.
There's just 4 days left for you to grab the chance to win big this summer. Someone has to win our stunning cash prize of £76,543.21. And that person really could be you. Imagine all of the fun you could have this year with that. You could treat the family, treat your friends, make it a super summer for everyone you know. Or just enjoy a bit of me time, safe in the knowledge all those day-to-day financial stresses have been taken care of. £76,543.21 in totally tax-free cash could be yours in time for summer. Make sure you don't miss out, as lines close at 4 p.m. on Friday.
For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Well, coming up, all of tomorrow's newspaper front pages. But first... Oh, sorry, including the Metro, yes, but first...
I swear by Almighty God that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles.
But Andy Burnham was sworn into Parliament today. So who is the man behind a political comeback? And I've got a sensational clip for you. David Lammy has just done the media rounds, and we're going to play that for you when we come back.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you. Bulletins on GB News,
The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter?
So that's a very live question.
Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way. You will not want to miss it, trust me.
The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in...
The late edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
Because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christys tonight, late edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, late edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
We can allow. You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, Parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Patrick Christys Tonight. So, the Prime Minister in waiting, Andy Burnham, was sworn into Parliament today after his victory in Makerfield last week, and Keir Starmer's resignation timetable set out. The so-called King of the North could be Prime Minister within weeks. But who is the real Andy Burnham? Shall we take a look? Well, he tried and failed to be Labour leader twice. As Health Secretary, he faced criticism for failing to act on the serious failings and deaths at Staffordshire hospitals. Burnham was the only high-profile moderate shadow minister who did not resign under Corbyn in 2017. Even Keir Starmer did then, actually, apparently. And the Home Office when he was there. He tried to roll out the identity card scheme, which proved to be deeply controversial. As Mayor of Greater Manchester, he missed his homelessness target. He wasted around £104 million on cameras for a clean air zone that never happened. He gave a luxury property developer between £600 and £800 million in taxpayer-backed loans, but they didn't build enough affordable housing. He's been accused of allowing Manchester police to mark their own homework on the rape gang scandal. Look, there's loads, frankly. Joining us now to discuss this is the former Labour councillor and political commentator, Sebastian Saleh. Sebastian, thank you very, very much. So, Andy Burnham, really, is he the man for the job, do you think?
Well, let's wait and see. I mean, look, there are two things he has where he is strong and Starmer was a little bit weaker. The first is communication. He's very good at that, clearly. You get the sense that he knows how to talk to people. He knows how to connect with people. And the other is his political nous. Look, he's been in this game for a very long time. He's played things incredibly well to make it to where he is now. It's not easy coming into Westminster to try and become the Prime Minister, and it looks like he's about to do exactly that. So I hope that those are skills he'll use in the role if he gets there, because he's got a very big job on his hands, isn't he? And we don't still really know what he's going to do policy-wise. That's my area of concern. Still waiting to see exactly what his plan is.
Well, on that, Seb, because it's a great point. It's a great point because if he stands uncontested, there's rumours tonight that maybe Darren Jones is going to stand against him as some kind of almost like paper candidate, I suppose, to force something that at least looks like democracy in a way. But if he doesn't have that, then he does stand unopposed, and actually that means he doesn't really have to publish anything like a manifesto before he wanders into Downing Street. So do you think that there should be a leadership contest here?
I don't think there needs to be a leadership contest, but I do want to see him lay out some kind of plan. I think it's only fair if you come in that you say what you're going to do with the job, because, look, he's got two options. He can either carry on with the current manifesto that's in place, and then what's the point, really? You've just replaced the figurehead at the top. Or he can come in with a new set of ideas. I think that's the much more likely route he's going to go down, but we deserve to know what those ideas are, and I think he's probably going to end up going towards an election as well, because he's going to need a mandate at some point from the people.
Yeah, great. I mean, that's, again, my other question here, really. I mean, it's something like 0.03% of the population. I mean, look, I get it. This is the country we live in. These are the rules, etc. You know, fine. I get it. But it was a manufactured by-election deliberately designed to get Andy Burnham in and Keir Starmer out. Something like 24,500 people voted for him. You know, again, that's the rules, but that's not really enough of a mandate, is it? So, I mean, how long do you think, realistically, he can survive without calling an election?
Yeah, I think that the real question is when is the pertinent time to call an election? And given that the honeymoon period seemed to be getting shorter and shorter, I mean, it was incredibly brief for Starmer, wasn't it, when he came in? Yeah. It might make sense to do it quite quickly because there's never going to be a better time. And we've also seen that he can, at least in Makerfield, beat Reform, which is going to be the crucial challenge for him when it does come to a general election. So maybe there's an argument for do it now, get it out of the way, and then you can get on and govern.
I actually saw this during the top of the last hour when I was scanning through social media. It looks like David Lammy has already jumped ship from being a supporter of Keir Starmer to being a supporter of Andy Burnham. But there's a clip here. Let's listen to it.
Look, I've known Andy Burnham for over 25 years, I think, in politics. We were both protégés of the late Tessa Jowell. And worked together very closely when he was back in Parliament. I think I supported him for one of his previous bids to become leader of the Labour Party. So if it is the wish of the Parliamentary Labour Party and the Labour movement that he should lead us, he will command my full support.
It's a bit comical, isn't it, really? I mean, this guy's been going into bat for Starmer the whole time, and now it's for Burnham. We saw the MPs lining up behind our Andy earlier today. I mean, yeah, what do you make of that, really? It's not great. I just find it's like, this is why people don't really like politicians.
I can see why it looks like that from outside of the Labour Party, but this is a party that, you know, the reputation is that everybody hates each other, everybody disagrees with each other politically. I think it's quite nice when you can get on board. I think, look, if I were an MP at the moment, I could certainly have sat in a Starmer cabinet. I could certainly sit in a Burnham one. They are not as opposing as they may seem. I think they both have their strengths. And so I think, yeah, they are not so far away from each other that it feels disjointed. Look, if it were Corbyn coming in, I'd be giving a very different answer. But Burnham, I think, is flexible enough in the past that I do see the overlap there.
He did actually stick with Corbyn, though, didn't he, Burnham?
Burnham Well, in a sense he did, but he also got out pretty quickly. He made a very canny move and went up to Manchester and sat out the whole of the Corbyn period, which was horrible for the Labour Party. Nobody really gained from that. Sadiq Khan did a similar thing. He stood down in 2016 and became Mayor of London, and that, I think, has paid off for both of them. They're both enjoying a lot of electoral success, a lot of popularity in their respective cities, and for Burnham, it seemed to convert into the premiership of the country, so fair play to him.
All right, OK, Seb, thank you very much. As ever, Sebastian Salek, the former Labour councillor. Right, OK, coming up, we're going to have a little look at tomorrow's newspaper front pages. And, yes, as you imagine, there's quite a lot of that. Burnham set for coronation. And by the way, my list of Starmer's lowlights earlier on, I somehow managed to skip the bit where he appointed Peter Mandelson, the friend of the world's most notorious paedophile, to the role of US ambassador. So, yeah, there you go. Just shows exactly how much bad stuff there's been, that somehow I managed to skip that in my list of doom. But anyway, I'm sure we'll get to that next.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Hello. The heatwave is continuing across central and northeastern parts of Europe. Thunderstorms now also breaking out, with temperatures being 10 to 15 degrees above average. A cloudier picture across the Canary Islands with some showers here, but for the vast majority, it's going to be hot again. Sunny spells, but also thunderstorms breaking out as we go into the week. And that theme does continue. We'll see more in the way of some thunderstorms, but the heat moving its way further eastwards.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Evening, welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Temperatures will continue to rise over the next few days, probably peaking on Thursday. We have Met Office amber and a red extreme heat warning. The red in place for Wednesday and Thursday, broader amber warnings in place for much of this week, covering most of England and Wales. Temperatures are going to be breaking records, pushing the mid to high 30s. We've seen temperatures over 30 degrees today, some heavy showers crossing eastern parts, very hit and miss, but some thunderstorms likely here and there. It's nowhere near as hot across Scotland and Northern Ireland. Reasonably comfortable night across northern Scotland, but the warmth is pushing north into southern Scotland and Northern Ireland. But in the south, temperatures likely to hold up over 20 Celsius in some towns and cities. Still a possibility of the overnight heavy thundery showers across parts of the southeast early on, but they should be clearing away. And then it's basically a sunny and hot day to come on Tuesday. It might start fairly cloudy, perhaps a little misty in some locations, but generally a fine start to the day. Some showers across Shetland. They should be pulling away through the course of the morning, as should any showers over northern England or the far southeast, drifting away to reveal plenty of hazy sunshine up and down the country with light winds. And as we're starting the day in the high teens or even low 20s, the temperatures are just going to tick up steadily with the powerful June sunshine, so that by the time we get to the afternoon, we're looking at widely over 30 Celsius across England and Wales, high 20s for parts of Northern Ireland and southern Scotland. And in this central zone, we could be up to 35, 36, maybe 37 degrees Celsius, potentially the hottest June day on record. Wednesday, hotter still. Again, lots of sunshine across the country. Temperatures probably peaking on Thursday before dipping a little on Friday. Those weather warnings are on the Met Office website in full.
From cold mornings
to warm family brunches,
from football to tennis, in the car,
in the kitchen,
GB News Breakfast is there with the stories you need and the conversations that matter.
Anyway, let's talk business.
Well, it has been a historic night in British politics.
It's astonishing, isn't it? We're here again to start your day just right. GB News Breakfast.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back. Let me get you a first look at tomorrow's newspaper front pages then. The Independent go for regime change. Emotional Starmer quits with, quote, good grace 2 years after huge win. I mean, good grief, honestly. The Daily Telegraph, Burnham set for coronation. Well, the noises are tonight that someone like Darren Jones might stand against him just to make it a bit of a contest. But in the meantime, what happens to the country? I suppose we all just trundle on. They've gone for the picture there of all of those Labour MPs lining up behind him. Please give me a job, Andy. And then we've got The Guardian, Starmer bows out as Burnham swoops in. The Metro, Keir's tears. Well, didn't technically cry, did he? But looked close. And Andy's crown. Starmer quits, unstreeting backs away. And The Express, they go for a slightly different front page. They go for give us a proper Brexit. The Express crusade, 10 years since Britain voted to leave the EU. I mean, look, hey, I suppose it's a decent front page. However, you can tell that's one that they kind of had in the can before Starmer resigned today and decided to go for it anyway. So there we are. We've got a clip shortly for you. President Trump has actually reacted on camera to Starmer quitting, so I'll be able to play that for you soon. But yes, I mean, just dealing with these front pages, really. I mean, the Telegraph's one there, I think, is fascinating. They go for King of the North, expected to become PM within weeks. Sir Keir accepts, with good grace, calls that down. I mean, I think the thing for me, Connie, here is that basically, even since the local elections, Starmer's been a lame duck PM because loads of people quit, and now we've potentially got a few more weeks of nothingness. This country needs to be grabbed by the scruff of the neck and dragged upwards, kicking and screaming. And these politicians they're all smiling. They're about to go on the summer holidays. They'll come back. We'll have Andy in. It's not good for Britain, this, is it?
No, I mean, one thing we spoke about earlier, or one thing that you said, Benjamin, was about, and many people say it about Keir Starmer struggles with telling a story, but you can't tell a story when there's no substance. And that's largely what Andy Burnham has done as well. The complete flip-flopping, being pro-trans to being pro-rejoining the EU to suddenly knowing what a woman is and saying, oh, no, I'll respect the Brexit vote. That might have something to do with the fact that the electorate in Makerfield voted 65% in favour of Brexit. These people don't have any principles when it comes to government. We all knew that it was a stepping stone when it came to Andy Burnham standing in this seat. So, yeah, I mean, they're both of them are kind of metaphors for how the Western world has basically become. They've lost their way. They have no idea what it is that makes them politicians of Britain. I've actually heard some people say, actually, perhaps the strongest thing Andy Burnham can do, and I know he didn't shut the door on calling for a snap election, would be to hold a general election. He's just proved that he can beat Reform in Makerfield by a fantastic win by all accounts. Maybe he could prove it again. If he's so confident, why doesn't he hold a general election? Of course he's not going... I mean, maybe he will, but I'd be very surprised.
I think there's 400 people stood behind him in that photograph who would be a bit unhappy
wouldn't be very happy if he did. Yeah.
I mean, no Labour MP wants a general election.
Yeah, some of the breaking news lines coming out this evening for you are that apparently Andy Burnham is choosing between Wes Streeting, Ed Miliband or Shabana Mahmood to be the next Chancellor. Who would you despise the least?
Well, I don't really know enough about what any of them stand for, but I don't know what Andy Burnham stands for. This is the challenge with it. This is the undemocratic nature of him winning this by-election. Yes, it was a good victory, but then being propelled to be leader, we have no idea what he's going to do. Is he going to put taxes down? Is he going to cut taxes? Is he going to increase benefits? Is he going to reduce benefits? He has no mandate, and the British people just simply have no idea what he is going to do or his Chancellor is going to do. And this is unique, actually. I think this is people say the Conservatives had lots of people who became Prime Ministers without holding elections. In fact, Boris held an early election, as did Theresa May. But what united them was they all stood on a manifesto at election and they were elected on it. Andy Burnham had no manifesto in the Makerfield by-election. You just don't do one. So he really has no mandate. And I think that's why Labour figures have been calling for a general election today. I just don't think it's going to happen. OK.
Well, I've got a clip for you now. This is in the last few moments. President Trump has commented on the demise of Keir Starmer.
And I told him he's a very nice man. I mean, sort of a friend of mine. I mean, he was not good to us with NATO, Pete, right? He said, we can't use the island to land. That was the first. For a couple of weeks, he said, well, but ultimately I gave it to you. Now, that was a bad move. That hurt him badly. But I mean, I wish him well, but he's got two problems: energy and immigration.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. That's what Trump said, really. But yeah, so I mean, Starmer gone, Burnham potentially in, really. You're not actually a massive fan of Andy Burnham, are you?
No, I've really never liked him at all.
Why not? Why not?
Because I think he is quite vacuous, quite insincere, quite unpredictable. But you know, ask me in a week's time and I'll say the opposite.
How is that any different?
Like Andy Burnham.
You're going to have to spend the next 2 years defending him every Monday night, can't you?
But do you know what? What I would say, though, look, I think if the question was that we have a problem with flip-flopping, I've struggled to see that Andy Burnham was the answer to that. But where I take some hope is that when Andy Burnham was actually in government, he was one of the most hardline centrists in Blair and Brown's governments. And so that gives me some hope that when he isn't having to face the questions of left-wing Labour members, he may govern in the way that he did when he last was in Cabinet. And the question over who his Chancellor will be, well, apparently tomorrow's Times newspaper reports that he's going to give a speech saying he will absolutely stick to the fiscal rules and that borrowing is too high.
He's not what they are yet, because he didn't on Victoria Derbyshire.
Indeed. Well, hopefully he'll give some interviews to answer that. I really hope, I would have, without any difficulty, I was very enthusiastic. I think Wes Streeting would be an outstanding Prime Minister. Given that Wes Streeting has not stood for the leadership, I think I would hope and expect that he is the person who'll get Chancellor. And he is very much, to put it in simple terms, a Blairite, and so that would give me some hope that this will be a moderate Labour government.
It's all going to fall apart from it. This is what's going to happen. It is going to fall apart for Andy Burnham, almost, in my view, quicker than it did for Starmer, because if he is going to do that, stick to the fiscal rules, he's going to have to do things like tackle welfare, and the hard-left Labour Parliamentary Party...
The Labour Parliamentary Party is not hard-left
who have backed him, well, they call it soft-left, I call it hard-left.
It's not soft-left.
Depends where you stand. Who backed him thinking he'd be the next Prime Minister, are going to go berserk if he reverts to type, which is a sort of centrist. They're going to...
Well, just on that, more of tomorrow's newspaper front page is coming your way. The Times is reporting Burnham angles for power. I think we're going to be getting some kind of statement from him tomorrow, so watch that space. We'll try and find out what he's going to say. That's next.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
All the things that we might not think about when we think about a pint of beer, all the things that go into running a pub like this one. So I'll hand you the microphone, you tell us while I have a go at this. Don't judge me too harshly, Dawn.
Amazing. So obviously people don't take into effect that the energy costs and the raw material costs, also the packaging, overheads and the tax hikes. So when we're pulling a pint of beer, we have to think about the cost that's gone into making the beer and the rises in that. We also have to think about the overheads, the staff, the electrics which are plumbed in to pouring a pint. This obviously is very astronomical to pubs, because if it increases, we're therefore going to have to put that onto the consumer, making the pint of beer more expensive.
GB News, the People's Channel. GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
You can't help wondering if that's what Prince William, future king, of course, is sort of planning for the future, whether that's the sort of slightly more laid-back attitude towards modern life.
Yes, I mean, I think we're going to see a huge change in the type of monarchy we have when he comes to the throne. We can very much see that King Charles is his mother's son. King Charles very much regards the Coronation Act as a sacrament, that it's essentially akin to becoming a priest, something that you do for life, much as the Queen Elizabeth felt it was too, a deeply sacred spiritual bond, a covenant between God and himself and the people. We know that that is not really the way that Prince William regards monarchy as well. I personally think, for example, that Prince William will become the first king to abdicate.
GB News, the People's Channel. Sunday with Michael Portillo from 11, only on GB News.
I thought the film, which Spielberg did, didn't somehow strike the right note.
So this would be the way I felt about High Society, the musical. It's glossy, it's beautiful, it's impressive, but you feel a little bit distant from it. War Horse, you are in there. fantastic humour. That brings you in, you laugh with them, you care about them. So even when they're in the trenches and Albert makes a friend, they're bantering about girlfriends and things like that. You absorb how arbitrary and terrible war is, you know, decisions made by people far away, young lads just shoved over to run horse charges
and it's
into...
happening now,
yeah,
Stefan, let's be honest.
Absolutely.
What you're describing is happening now.
Well, this is why it's resonating so much, because you're sitting there going, what is the point? It's so beautifully done. I cannot recommend it
playing
enough.
Where?
This one is on at the National Theatre. It's Come Back Home. It's where it started almost 20 years ago.
GB News, the People's Channel.
OK, welcome back. The remainder of tomorrow's newspaper front pages for you now. The Mirror, out of time. Emotional Keir Starmer resigns as PM. Picture of him there with his wife. At the Times, Burnham angles for power, yeah. And the Daily Mail, Messiah without a mandate. There you are. And that is the thing, isn't it? Was it 0.03% of the vote, I think? You picked up on a point, though, Jake. Andy Burnham got on the train in Manchester, what, wearing a T-shirt?
A black T-shirt, and got off in London wearing a white shirt and a suit. I just sort of wonder, he's a bit sort of Superman-esque. He's obviously getting changed in the loo, so he's not just the King of the North, he's also Superman.
I wonder if he travelled first class, because that seems to matter to people on the left.
Well, do you know, I highly doubt it is, because he's too good at politics for that. But I put this to Connie earlier. What security does Andy Burnham get? Because he's the man that seems very likely to be the British Prime Minister in a matter of weeks.
He'll have it.
But right now, you know, he wouldn't automatically be entitled to any serious security. So, you know, how...
Well, I don't know what the rules...
So the point is security is based on risk. He will now be a at-risk person, because unfortunately that's the country we live on. I saw the same with Boris Johnson when he was sort of nailed on even in the leadership election of the Conservative Party before he even made it. Security, because I worked really close with him, just sort of appeared and said, hello, we're here, we're your security. He will already have it.
Yeah.
Which I think is how they got him out of Euston from the underground car park.
You were also, Benjamin, telling me about something about how he was asked what his favourite biscuit is.
Yeah, when he ran for Labour leader, one of the times he lost, one of the times he actually had to run for Labour leader rather than being given it.
Right.
And he was asked, I think it was 2010, he was asked what's his favourite biscuit, and he said, oh, I'm Northern, I have chips and gravy, not biscuits.
And now all he just says is, now all he just talks about is those bloody buses in Manchester. Every question he goes, well, on the B network in Manchester, my buses. Yeah. I think that's going to wear very thin.
See, that's what I don't like. I mean, look, we all Northerners, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Where are you from?
East Anglia, I think.
OK, fair enough.
North East Anglia.
But yeah, North East. No, but I find this performative northernness very pathetic. Like, I find it quite offensive as a northerner.
It's a bit like Northern Face, isn't it? Instead of blackface. But do you know what? I might find it a little bit...
So I said, yeah, before you finished your sentence there, and I wish I hadn't.
I might find it a bit tedious and a bit ridiculous. But actually, if you look at what did Keir Starmer get wrong, he didn't have a character that you could easily identify. And people know Andy Burnham is... they feel like he understands the working class, the North, a part of Britain that's overlooked. Right. I think it's probably an asset as a politician.
Son of a tool. Oh, no, that was the other bloke.
The thing is, though, people talk about wanting normal people in politics. And obviously, Andy Burnham has been trying to play this character as a normal person. Yes, he has very humble beginnings, and you know, that's fantastic. But he is now a career politician. There's no doubt about it. And the other candidates, for example, Rob Kenyon in Makerfield was actually a normal person. And when you get that, the media hate it. The fact that they were digging up stuff that he said on social media. I'm telling you now, when my generation get into politics, that will not work anymore, because no one will be safe.
The problem wasn't that Rob Kenyon was a normal person. The problem was that he was a sexist and a bit thick, right? It's an insult to the working class to say that just because someone is working class, that qualifies them for the role.
I'm not saying it's that it's because he's working class. My point is that people who never imagined themselves going into politics will, of course, said things that are not savoury for public life and politics. And when my generation...
Saying I am a sexist, as he is...
but actually...
Oh, my God, can you understand sarcasm?
Hold on.
There's actually a woman here who doesn't.
So what he actually said is...
He said women shouldn't drive.
No, he didn't. He said, women are bad drivers and they can't do directions. Now, if you go in the car with me and my wife and listen to what my wife says, she says exactly the same thing about me. We were on a journey last night. She goes, "You're a terrible driver and you won't follow my directions." That doesn't make her a sexist, nor does it make Rob Kenyon a sexist. It's just the sort of thing that normal people say. Normal people say. Oh, well, he sort of said, "Oh, ho, ho, maybe I'm a bit sexist." It's just sort of normal conversation people say. I mean, you got Andy Burnham, the professional politician, coming to Westminster. I actually think you're absolutely right. We need more real people coming into politics, and if we exclude them because they talk like, 99% of the population, then Westminster would be empty.
Well, luckily we've got another hour to get stuck into the front pages and more as well. Apparently they're going to shut schools because it's too hot. That's next.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Evening, welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Temperatures will continue to rise over the next few days, probably peaking on Thursday. We have Met Office amber and a red extreme heat warning. The red in place for Wednesday and Thursday, broader amber warnings in place for much of this week, covering most of England and Wales. Temperatures are going to be breaking records, pushing the mid to high 30s. We've seen temperatures over 30 degrees today, some heavy showers crossing eastern parts, very hit and miss, but some thunderstorms likely here and there. It's nowhere near as hot across Scotland and Northern Ireland. Reasonably comfortable night across northern Scotland, but the warmth is pushing north into southern Scotland and Northern Ireland. But in the south, temperatures likely to hold up over 20 Celsius in some towns and cities. Still a possibility of the overnight heavy thundery showers across parts of the southeast early on, but they should be clearing away. And then it's basically a sunny and hot day to come on Tuesday. It might start fairly cloudy, perhaps a little misty in some locations, but generally a fine start to the day. Some showers across Shetland. They should be pulling away through the course of the morning, as should any showers over northern England or the far southeast, drifting away to reveal plenty of hazy sunshine up and down the country with light winds. And as we're starting the day in the high teens or even low 20s, the temperatures are just going to tick up steadily with the powerful June sunshine, so that by the time we get to the afternoon, we're looking at widely over 30 Celsius across England and Wales, high 20s for parts of Northern Ireland and southern Scotland. And in this central zone, we could be up to 35, 36, maybe 37 degrees Celsius, potentially the hottest June day on record. Wednesday, hotter still. Again, lots of sunshine across the country. Temperatures probably peaking on Thursday before dipping a little on Friday. Those weather warnings are on the Met Office website in full.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Well, Keir Starmer's finally gone, hasn't he? His chin wobbled a little bit, but I suppose now he knows how we feel. I suppose we've probably also seen the back of Rachel Reeves and Lord Hermer, so all in all, a good day. But Andy Burnham has made it to Westminster, which obviously he must hate, because he doesn't like to leave the north, as he keeps going on about. But anyway, he even put a suit on, didn't he? So we're going to find out what Andy Burnham stands for. I think we might be getting a speech from Burnham tomorrow, and there are rumours about who he's going to make the next Chancellor. I'll reveal all next.
Hello from the Imperial Island Resort in Paphos, and it's the final week to see how you could win big in time for summer. Someone has to win our stunning cash prize of £76,543.21. Just don't miss out, as lines close on the 26th of June.
For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
At the stroke of midnight, the news doesn't stop, and neither do we.
day in, day out. Forget stuffy late night TV shows. We're giving you a front row ticket to the centre of the political universe.
Because breaking news doesn't wait for the morning.
And neither do we. Join us for one of the most controversial and volatile times of politics in human history.
A very big story.
Big story over here.
You won't get this anywhere else. The Late Show live at midnight, every night.
Only on GB News.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me. What's the truth of the matter?
So that's a very live question. Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the